short. I gotta move this down. Well, I hear the train a-coming. It's rolling around the bend. And I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison. In time keeps dragging on. But that train keeps on rolling on down to San Antonio. When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, always be a good boy, don't you mess around with guns. But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. When I hear that whistle blowing, well, I hang my head and cry. Well, I bet there's rich folks here in a fancy dining car. They're probably drinking coffee and they're smoking big cigars. But I know I had it coming. Well, I know I can't be free. But those people keep on moving, and that's what tortures me. 'Cause I hear the train coming, it's rolling around the bend, and I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison, and time keeps dragging on. But that train keeps on rolling, going down to San Antonio. Won't you save me from this prison? Won't you get me out of here? I wanna smoke a cigarette and drink a nice cold beer. But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. When I hear that whistle blowing, I hang my head and cry. Thank you. Well, like you said, my name is Beth Margaret. I'm a songwriter. This next one I'm gonna sing is about a guy. How many of you guys have been in like a weird relationship where you're kind of like dating, but like you're not really dating? Like there's like no commitment there? That's like all the time, right now? Anyway, I was kind of dating this guy, and we were at the park hanging out. There was like I said, like no commitment really. And then he told me, he was like, well, yesterday I saw my ex, and we actually decided we're gonna try and work things out. And I was like, oh man, like all my insecurities started like flooding back to me. This one's called Yesterday. You're sitting next to her. She's making you laugh. Her eyes are a pretty green. I can't compete with that. She reaches for your hand, and you don't pull away. You're sipping on hot tea, and her hair looks lovely. I can't control my heart. No, I couldn't even when I tried. My love, you have gone far too far. Please return. Well, I can't control my hands. They're reaching up towards your face. Oh, my love, will you squeeze them tightly? Then walk away. Yesterday. You say you're glad she called. She said she's glad you came. You get lost in her eyes and my heart falls down. whisper on her cheek and she drives away. Oh, I can't control my heart. No, I couldn't even when I tried. My love, you have gone far too far. Please return. Well, I can't control my hands. They're reaching up towards your face. Oh, my love, will you squeeze them tightly, then walk away? Yesterday, this next one here, I was reading a book. One of my favorite, I love reading books, and one of my favorite books is Anne of Green Gables. Yes. And yeah, I got a thumbs up back there. There's this one scene where they're kind of walking in like this really pretty area, the way the book describes it. And Gilbert is in love with Anne, but she's not in love with him. She doesn't really realize it yet. And they're talking about this older couple in the town that had recently reconnected, and they reconnected after many years of not being together, and they got married. And Anne said, you know, oh, Gilbert, isn't that so romantic that after so many years of misunderstanding that they finally were able to be together? And Gilbert looked at her and he like held her hand and he's like, Anne, wouldn't it be even more romantic if there wasn't any years of misunderstanding and they were together from the beginning? And that's when Anne was like, I think I might be falling in love with him. This one's called Hopeful Glance. Close your eyes, take a breath, realize what we could have, saying I love you. Well, that's quite the understatement. What if I kissed you? Would you go home tonight? Well, you were here before and you'll be last. Babe, I got your heart and you got my back. Can't we just give up? Just give in and try this. The ocean waves rush through my skin, the salt wind blowing. Oh, it feels so good to see you smile again and saying I missed you. Well, that's quite the understatement. And if I could be true, I'd be with you tonight. Well, you were here before and you'll be last. Babe, I got your heart and you got my back. And can't we just give up? Just give in and try this. Carefree moments, a nervous glance, hopeful whispers, can I hold your hand? Memories bouncing, they're in my eyes. I know you see them, don't run and hide. Not this time, you were here before and you'll be last. Babe, I got your heart and you got my back. Can't we just give up? Just give in and try this. Gotta figure this out before we die. So are you coming over? Or am I? Who's cooking in the kitchen? Who's pushing their plate away? Who forgot to say grace? Who's trying to save the day? Boy, you got a big, big heart. Sometimes it turns black. Sometimes you're Sometimes I'm right, and when I turn out the light, there's a moment that's so bright. When you're laying on your back, coming back. Samson, you'll sleep now. Samson, you'll sleep now. Samson, you'll sleep now. Samson, you'll sleep now. Your hair, it used to be so long. 7 beautiful locks. I used to run my hands all through. Then I took a knife and I cut them off one by one. Who's crying in the bedroom? Who's wiping their tears away? Who's praying to the gods above, saying, someone come down and save the day? Oh, I got a big, 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 big heart. Sometimes it turns black, sometimes you're right, but sometimes I'm right. And when I turn out the light, there's a moment that's so bright. When you're laying on your back, I'm coming back. And when I turn out the light, there's a moment that's so bright. When you're laying on your back, I'm coming back. Samson, you'll sleep now. Samson, you'll sleep now. Samson, you'll sleep now. Samson, you'll sleep now. Crumbling, tumbling, oh, the walls fall down. Crumbling, tumbling, oh, the walls fall down. Samson, you tried, oh, but Samson, oh, your power is out. Crumbling, tumbling, oh, the walls fell down. Samson, you'll sleep now. Samson, you'll sleep now. Samson, you'll sleep now. Was when I was standing in Dodger Stadium, like the very highest seats. Well, that's a lie. There was literally one guy behind me, but I was almost the very last seats. And Paul McCartney came out on stage with his old bass. I'm a huge Beatles fan. And he came out, and I had never cried tears of joy before, but I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed. Like, I just started crying. And he was playing 8 days a week, and he was old. This was like 2 years ago, so he was still old. But it was amazing. It was one of the greatest experiences ever. The second time I cried tears of joy was when my oldest brother told me that he and his wife were expecting twins, and I was going to be an auntie for the first time. And I didn't know, I didn't even realize I wanted to be an auntie that bad, but I was just like, oh my gosh, why am I crying? I was excited, but it was a cool moment. I got home later on that night, and I was like, time flies by so quickly. And if you close your eyes too long, or if you blink too many times, you're gonna miss something amazing. I couldn't believe it. I mean, my brother, who I grew up with, who, you know, we played with and everything and bullied me around, he's a dad now. It's crazy. Time flies by, man. When I was 3, my dad had a car. It drove real fast, and I'd look at the stars and they'd wink at me. Oh, when I was 3. was still in love with that girl. You see, nothing changed, but everything felt different. I couldn't help but to feel so sickened at the time and how it flew by before my eyes. Life will pass you by so quickly now, but it's so pretty, so honey, look around. And if you never close your eyes and try, you'll always win. Oh love, you'll always win. You'll always win. Oh love, you'll always win. If I was being honest, I would have held us tight. Never would have said goodbye, we would never fight. And Mama would say goodnight. Daddy would say goodnight. Not to me, but to each other. If I was being honest, oh, I was scared as hell. But I kept my big shield up like I do, and no one would have noticed it if I had failed. Mama would say goodnight. Daddy, hold Mama tight. Not for me, but for my brothers. Mama, you can tuck me in. Daddy, let's pretend that I'm 5 again. Not for me, or for my brothers. Not for me, but because you and Mama are lovers. Like a lot of artists especially, I tend to struggle with depression. And I have a really favorite part about depression. It's the best. It's when you're really down for like a long time, and I'm sure some of you guys can relate. When you're really down and you don't know, you can't like find that switch to turn it on or off, and you're driving somewhere because you have to be there and you don't really want to go, you'd rather be home sleeping, but you're driving and a really good song comes on the radio and you're like, okay, that's a good song, you turn it up, and then you see the sun and it's starting to set and the weather seems nice, so you put the window down and your arms out the window and you turn the song up even louder, and now you're singing along, and the sun is just kind of going down over the mountains, and the hills and grass and everything looks so beautiful, and then it just hits you and you're like, this is what life is about. You know, these moments when you're just feeling good, you just feel alive. And that's my favorite part about depression, is when you find that one little thing that just brings you right out of it. And so every time I feel low or I feel bad or I'm in some sort of funk, I think about that. I'm like, oh, but it's going to be so good once I find that moment, whether it's a conversation with a friend or a drive or whatever, man. It's exciting. That's my favorite part about depression. This song's called Alive. Comfort in blankets, cold in the sheets. My head's on a pillow, my heart it weeps. I wanna change the world, instead I sleep. I'm fighting a battle so very old, the world's already seen it, their story's been told. Why must I tell mine? Arm out the window, I'm driving so fast. The music is playing, the sun starts to set, and I feel feel so alive. I'm going through the mountains, the ocean's on my left. There's a big herd of horses running so fast, and the wind is in my eyes. I cry, I feel so alive. Born on a blue day, cold little arm screaming for her mama who's so very far. Sun comes up and she's grown. Running through valleys, flowers and snow, jumping in puddles, her heart begins to grow. Then it breaks one more time and she's dust. Arm out the window, I'm driving so fast, the music is playing, the sun starts to set, and I feel so alive. Going through the mountains, the ocean's on my left. There's a big herd of horses running so fast, and the wind is in my eyes. I cry, feel so alive. I feel so alive. Feel so alive. Feel so alive. I feel so alive. I feel so alive. I feel so alive. Feel so alive. A comfort in blankets, cold in the sheets, my head's on a pillow, my heart it weeps. I want to change the world, instead I sleep. Something so pleasant about that face. Even our emotions had an echo, so much space. When you're out there, without a care, I was out of touch. But it wasn't because I didn't know enough. I just knew too much. So make me crazy. So make me crazy. So make me crazy. Probably. Then I hope that you were having the time of your life. Just think twice. Oh, that's my only advice. Tell me now, who do you think you are? Ha ha ha, bless your soul. You really think you're in control? 'Cause I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy. Yeah. I think you're crazy. Ooh, just like me. Oh, well, baby, I think we're crazy. I think we're crazy. Whoa, whoa, baby, I think we're crazy. Ooh, probably. I remember when I lost my mind. One I wrote called Home. Home is where I'd like to be. Not in an aeroplane or sailing or sea. I'll be in my garden or making some tea. Home is where I'd like to be. I'd like to read a nice book. I'll become the characters and fight off Captain Hook. I'll be like Aunt Shirley floating down the stream. Home is where I'd like to be. When you're home, everybody knows your name, and the stars they dance in the strangest ways. In your heart it seems to dance with them. When you're home, everything seems okay, and suddenly you're brave, and the pain just goes away. When you're home, when you're home. I'd like to see you again. We'll go through our old neighborhood and you and I pretend. You hold my hand, darling, make me feel free. Home is where I'd like to be. I'd like to see my old house. I'll climb up the stairs one night as quiet as a mouse. I'll go to my bedroom where I lived as a teen. Home is where I'd like to be. When you're home, everybody knows your name, and the stars they dance in the strangest ways. In your heart it seems to dance with them. When you're home, everything seems okay, and suddenly you're brave, and the pain just goes away. When you're home, when you're home. Can you feel it calling? It's calling you by name. If home is where the heart is, then home is where I'll stay. It's where I'll stay. If the lights go out and you're tired, but you can't fall asleep, just get in your car and drive. Home, everybody knows your name, and the stars they dance in the strangest ways. In your heart it seems to dance with them. When you're home, everything seems okay, and suddenly you're brave, and the pain just goes away. When you're home, when you're home, I wanna go home. You can find more of my music at bethmargaret.com if you want to take a look. Most of the songs I played here